Hey everyone, this is Carla, and welcome to an all new episode of Projectize. I'm your hostess, and Projectize is my daily project management online show. And I do this show for three reasons: to discuss the business of project management, how businesses use project management, and obtaining project management certification. So today's episode is the 5 reasons why learning never stops. And as you know, if you were to watch yesterday's episode of Projectize, I was talking about IDLE 4. So IDLE is IT infrastructure library. Well, it used to be. Now it's just IDLE, an acronym and abbreviation. And the 4 is for the fourth industrial revolution. But that's neither here nor there. I wanted to do this episode because I wanted people to understand that when you see yourself as a certified professional or an expert in your field, you may think that you're on the top, but it takes continuous education, improvement, and learning in order to stay there. So here are the 5 reasons why learning never stops. So number one, the world is constantly changing. So for me, I already have my IDLE version 3 foundation, but to get recertified, I need to take a new exam. And the content and the things that I learned in 3 are different than the ones that I'm learning in 4, which is extremely important because that means that the world is changing. And the same when I was studying for my cybersecurity 4.401 versus 501, which is a CompTIA exam. I was doing Security Plus, which is cybersecurity. I bring that up because I'm going to come back to a point later in this broadcast. But the world is constantly changing and you need to be a part of it, which is number 2. In order to consider being an expert, you have to be current. So that means you have to know what's really going on in your profession. So for me, I'm also a certified project management professional and certified Scrum. As I mentioned before, I often take to new technologies such as mixed reality, which is a combination of augmented reality and virtual reality, because that's the direction which the world is going into. And there will be a lot of people who have to know those new technologies in order to manage the new projects. Well, to that end, just being on the cusp of new technology and current events, it also lets you spot where the opportunities are. And that means you can stay relevant, you can stay current. Well, number 3, continuous learning makes you smarter because when you're stagnant, remember, your brain is a muscle. That means if it's not constantly exercising and you're putting new things in it, a muscle gets atrophy and it contracts. So you want to be seen as smarter, you actually have to continually learn something. Number 4, learning something new in a way creates new problems that need to be solved. I mentioned opportunities in between number 2 and 3. Well, think of it this way. I mentioned IDLE 4 and I mentioned studying for my cybersecurity. What I'm currently learning while reviewing the IDLE 4 is that they're mentioning certain cybersecurity tools and techniques in information security management. Well, if I didn't have a background in cybersecurity, then I would not have known about those tactics. But since I do know about those things, then I don't have to get additional learning and additional knowledge. But for someone who's just pure IT service management, they may not know the intricacies of cybersecurity, and they will probably have to take a CompTIA exam or some type of course to better learn about cybersecurity to be able to pass this exam. So number 4 is learning something new creates new problems to be solved, but those new problems are opportunities that can be lucrative if you are the person who is seen as the expert and you can continue to learn. And then number 5 is you get to wield greater influence. So people who are continuing learning current and they can solve the new problems, they become influencers. They become the thought leaders of the professions. You can kind of see this. So for instance, every time there's a new technology or a new trend, you start seeing new influencers. And you also see people who I call as period pieces. They were good at a certain time, but they weren't able to make the jump. And as an expert, you don't want to be seen as the latter. You want to be seen as an influencer who's able to transition throughout technology and trends and developments, because that's what a truly an expert is. So I'm going to do a recap of the 5 reasons why you should never stop learning. Please share this out, this new episode of Projectize. My name is Carla R. Jenkins. I'm the hostess of Projectize. I have a project management professional, certified Scrum Master and IDOL with over 12 years problem solving experience using project management and IT service management. You can follow me on Carla R. Jenkins. That's my universal social media handle. Also, you can follow me on carlarjenkins.com. You can also contact me by getting on my contact page. And it's important that, I wanted to get this information out there. So please share it out. But the recap for the 5 reasons you should never stop learning is: 1, the world is constantly changing. 2, in order to be considered an expert, you have to keep current with current events. Number 3, actual continuous learning makes you smarter. Number 4, learning creates new problems to be solved, which are opportunities. And number 5 is you would wield a greater influence by being current and continuing learning. So this is this episode of Projectize. My name is Carla R. Jenkins, certified project management professional, certified Scrum, and IDO. As I mentioned before, you can contact me at carlarjenkins.com. You can click on the contact page. You can also work with me. And I'm very happy that for live and replay viewers, you've taken out the time to watch me on this episode of Projectize, my online project management show.